everybody to another YouTube not series. And just been getting a bit of sun. It's a Sunday fun day, and I thought I'd talk a little bit more about, hopefully the mic picks this up, it's not too echoey, with meal prep or meal prep companies, and are they worth it? Now, disclaimer, as always, I am not sponsored by My Muscle Chef. I just like their product. I think it's good. I think they're one of the better meal prep companies out there, and I want to talk to you a little bit about that, but more about meal prep services in general and how they're going to be good for you and things to consider. Now, when we look at meal prep services, and there are many around here in Australia, of the Gold Coast and wherever you are in the world, you'll find some as well. It's more about convenience. Now, one of the things that you don't really consider or take into the equation sometimes is your time for money. So, for example, depending on what you're doing in life, if you're working 9 to 5, if you're working your own business, time is valuable regardless. But as you scale within your business or in your job, and say you've got relationships and other commitments, you become a little bit time poor, and there's only so much time in each day. So something like this, or even batching your meals, can be the way to go. Now, with clients, one of the things that I recommend is taking a bit more of a graded approach. So for example, some people don't have the skills to meal prep straight away, and the only way by getting better at it is to actually do it. However, over time, what you want to do is you want to be able to go, right, well, initially I'm going to start by, if I can, I'm going to meal prep, or I'm going to eat foods that I'm normally eating, and I'm going to make small improvements. So for example, it might be, okay, I'm going to swap this food out for this food. Or you're going to be able to go, okay, you know what, I'm lacking in a little bit of protein, or whatever it might be in that respect, and then I'm going to go on from there, etc. Okay, so you've got to start where someone is generally. However, if you're someone who's considering meal prep, you've got to consider the cost. So you've got to spend the cost versus the time involved. If you're at a point where this is beyond your means, depending on how many meals you're going to get, you're much better to meal prep initially. Although it might take you a little bit more time, it's not worth trying to spend money that you don't have, that could be going to other things, bills and such priorities, until you can do it. However, you could also look, especially if you're a business owner, which is what I did, is how much your time is worth per hour. And you can figure out, okay, well, based on the time I'm going to spend versus what I could do meal prep versus buying it, what is my sort of hourly rate, and does that equate? So for example, if you're earning $100 an hour or 80 or 120 or whatever it is, you might go, you know what, it's worth me spending X amount on all of these meals throughout the week to get yourself ahead. Especially if you're on this channel, of course, you're into health and fitness, and you probably want to look and feel better. So these are all things to consider. You might find a happy medium where you go, you know what, I'm going to only buy my lunches or my dinners, and then if I like it and if it warrants the cost versus time, then I'm going to upgrade and going to get a little bit more. For me, I've tried quite a few companies. My Muscle Chef is efficient, they deliver, you get a discount when you order so many, and then they obviously deliver it to your door. It's really good because you can recycle all of this. The quality of the food, the ethics, their values are very good, and you can check them out. And again, I'm not sponsored by them, but it's very convenient. And a lot of the time, that time for me right now is a lot more valuable than standing in a kitchen meal prepping. I've done that for years. I do like cooking, but I'd rather do it when I want to cook 1 or 2 really nice meals throughout the weekend or on my downtime, rather than, okay, on the weekend now I've got other things to do, and then having to go and spend 1 hour, and I can get it down to 45 minutes and I can put a podcast in. But it's much better for me to spend that time elsewhere and relax in my downtime now, or do something else with people that I want to catch up with. But also I get different meals, right? When you're batching meals, you're generally going to have only so many flavors, otherwise it just becomes a pain in the ass. When you've got a big company who can buy in bulk, they're going to reduce those costs. They can do different meals here. So we've got beef rangdang, we've got turkey, we've got peri-peri chicken. There's that many. They've all got the macros on, and they're obviously all more bespoke to people who are more into health and fitness. So the protein is a little bit higher. Generally, the ratios of fat to carbs are a little bit more favorable of someone who would want to improve their body composition, so we say. So that's kind of it really. And if you're looking at a bit of a roadmap, so you're starting with ideally meal prep, right? But if you can't do that, then you need someone to make your meals, or you need some ready-made meals. The problem with that is if you don't get good ones, those macros are going to control very much what you eat, and you might find it hard to achieve your body composition goals if you're always overeating or undereating with meals, and it gets very expensive and also very frustrating. The next thing is to get a meal prep company or to buy in bulk where the meals are kind of already laid out. For example, in my academy, we partner with HelloFresh because, again, they're very good at what they do. And for someone, they can get all of the food delivered and it tells you how to cook it, so recipe cards. So they're kind of bridging that gap between you're not fully meal prepping, but you're not buying your meals either. So you've got this kind of go-between. Another tip that I recommend for clients is when you're making dinner or meals that you're already gonna eat anyway, you can double it up. So say you're having dinner, you can make it a little bit extra, you've got lunch the next day, and you have this carry-on. You might batch it in 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, then you're getting into the freezer. I find any short-term or really long-term, like over a week or under a couple of days, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. So you're always better to batch for at least a couple of days, the next day, or at least a week. Sort of above and beyond that, it gets a little bit tedious, etc. So My Muscle Chef, really, really good. High quality foods, very ethical, as I've already said, really affordable. I pay for 10 meals, so that's lunch and dinner every day. I pay just over $100, depending on the ones I pick. That's delivered every week. I also, and this is something that a lot of people don't consider, right? Think about this. So, if you don't meal prep and you make fresh, which there's nothing wrong with if you've got the time and you're pretty good in the kitchen, how long are you spending preparing, okay, each meal, cleaning up at night or at lunchtime, and then doing those dishes, etc., even if you use a dishwasher? Think about it. All those 10, 15 minutes, no matter how good you are, they add up over time. So unless you're a chef or someone who has the time and likes to cook fresh, which of course is amazing, you can save a shit ton of time by getting something like this, heating it up, okay? Let's not go into the plastic and microwave side of things and zealots. Still more evidence to be done on them. You will be fine. You can just pop that in the bin. You can recycle it and you're done. No washing up, no dishes, no meal prep, done. And then all you've got is your breakfast or your lunch or your dinner, or depending how many gaps you decide to fill with these meals. So ultimately it's about convenience. So are meal prep companies worth it, or getting your meals prep worth it? Depends. It always depends. If you're someone who can afford it and you want to save time, absolutely. If you're someone who loves to cook fresh and that's what you prefer and you've got the time to do it, probably not. Perhaps you're someone in between where you just need some lunches or you need a healthier option. Again, you might decide to go and have a bit of a hybrid approach, as I call it. So guys, that's pretty much it. Again, there are many companies out there. Find something that aligns with you. These are more bespoke to body composition. Macros are really good quality and lots of variety too. I would probably say if you were someone who was dieting on very low calories, or even someone on very high calories, then it would actually fall out of the norm. So for someone who eats a lot of food like me, I bulk up my other meals and my snacks to make it still cost effective. And there are some high calorie meals. If I was dieting, I would highly recommend, for a show, I would definitely make your own food. When you're getting that low body fat, you need to be in complete control, and you probably want to choose foods which are going to give you more volume, more value for your return, where things like this will still probably leave you a little bit hungry. But I'm talking like niche bodybuilding, real physique, shredded athletes. That's when you'd really want to know, take control of it yourself and get more bang for your buck. Aside from that, for most of you watching, if you decided to do that, it would just be a case of selecting meals which were a little bit more lower calorie or higher in volume, depending on the food selection. Guys, I'm gonna leave it there. If you liked the video, make sure to like the video. Of course, subscribe. I know you're watching, guys, you're watching. A lot of you aren't subscribed. Please click that subscribe button, hit the bell icon for notifications on weekly videos. Comment if you've got anything positive to say, or if you've got any questions or queries, or if you want to see anything specifically. And of course, you already know, until next week, in the meantime, stay fearless.